When you move in right up close to me, that's when I get the shakes all over me. Quivers down the backbone, I got the shakes down the knee bone.
This display of discrete components before you is less than 1/20th of my entire stock. During the 1980s and on to 2006, virtually all the service sales centres where I worked as a service tech closed down. I remember on 2 occasions men in suits coming in to where I worked and asking us technicians to clear our vans and our benches and effectively clear off. On one occasion the men in suits asked me to clear my van and my bench, and when I told them I had done so, they wanted to know what the items were that remained. I explained they did not belong to me. In no uncertain terms they told me to clear the lot. It was up to me what I did with the stuff. That is how I come to own all this stock, and, as I have said, more besides. These carrying cases are double-sided. There are all kinds of small components that are useful to radio and television servicing. Rectifiers, detector and light emitting diodes, lamps, plug fuses, valve bases, relays, that was from the days when I used to repair microwave ovens, wire wound resistors, capacitors and transistors. All useful stuff. From that carrying case of components I have selected these 6 capacitors and 1 resistor, if it's required, to form my small starter repair kit for this radio. As we see here, this circuit diagram shows a very basic design. I am not going to speak at length about the engineering of this circuit. Mr. Dennis Carter, whom I subscribe to, has produced a number of excellent productions where he eloquently explains the engineering of similar circuits. There is also an excellent book written by Mr. Rick McWhirter entitled All American 5 Radio. The basic principles of receiver technology is the same for American radios as it is for British radios and radios from anywhere else for that matter. Differences between British and American radios include mains input voltages and frequency reception. This book I have mentioned would be of particular use to those new to vintage radio repair and restoration. Here goes. 240 VAC at 60 CPS mains voltage on the primary winding of the mains transformer. Induction across to a step-up winding and 2 step-down windings. Either side of the step-up winding goes into either anode of the rectifier valve V5U78. Note there is a separate cathode, though pin 7 of the cathode is strapped to pin 4 of the heaters, and row or unsmooth DC passes up to C17, which is valued at 16 microfarads. From there it passes through to the primary of the audio output transformer. This part of the primary winding effectively is a smoothing choke. It then passes up via R15 6.8K and is smooth again via C16 32 microfarad capacitor, and then forms the HT rail, which is, according to this, 195 VDC. The centre tap of this winding here straps straight to the chassis or deck. The audio output pentode valve V4N78 is a basic circuit. Pin 5 is the anode that connects onto the audio output transformer. HT potential of now 195 volts onto pin 7, grid 2. Pin 1 is grid 1 or the control. Pin 2, which is the cathode, that is connected to DEC via R18 resistor, which is valued at 150 ohms. V3 DH77 is a double diode triode, and that is effectively the pre-amplification for the audio output circuit. Tone correction or top cut is via C19, which is a 0.01 microfarad capacitor, or 10 nanofarad if you wish. The variable tone circuit, just here, is via R14, which is 0.5 meg or 470k linear pot. The tone capacitor C18 valued at 0.005 microfarad. These days that would be a 0.0047 microfarad capacitor. As I've already said, this circuit so far is very basic. Before I sign off, there is something I want to show you. I have no doubt this book, Radio, written by Jonathan Hill, will be familiar to most of you. On page 193, let's move that out of the way, figure 759 is a photograph of a GEC model 5445, first introduced during August 1954. Later on that year, I first saw the light of day. I will be 60 this coming Christmas. In my next production, once the small component kit has been fitted, I shall apply 240 volts AC mains to the radio to assess the strength of the power supply and audio output circuits. Thank you all for viewing. It's very much appreciated. This is me, Phil, saying TTFN.